Good evening, everyone. Good afternoon, I meant. And I'm Kelly. I'm back, and I'm doing another person. But just think, you go to prison. I don't know if none of you went to prison. I have. So I went to prison, and I didn't get none of these. All I had was a TV. That's it, or off and on a PlayStation. But imagine going to prison, doing life in prison, and having parties with guests, wearing a dress, a nice dress that's like higher up, like a queen, like that, and anything that you wanted. Imagine that. But this lady I'm doing, that's exactly what she has done. So she could almost get anything she wanted. So, and this lady was born in, is it Poland or is it in German? I'm not really too sure. So anyway, her name is Sophia Charlotte Elisabeth Ursinus. Ursinus. And I don't know how to pronounce it. It's Ursinus. So whoever wants to pronounce it. Ursinus was a German serial killer believed to have been responsible for poisoning her husband, her aunt, and her lover, and attempted to poison her servant. A husband and a lover. Cool. But I'm looking for 5 girlfriends. So her trial led to a method of identifying arsenic poisoning. Sophie married and at the age of 19, much older counselor of the Supreme Court. She was born in Glatz at the city of Lower Sylvia, Prussia. Legislation. She's the daughter of a secretary of the Austrian legislation. Her father lost his position. She married Theodore Uranus. She lived with him until 1792 and afterwards in Berlin. In Sanadel, Pravi, Councillor Uranus died. There suddenly on September 11th, 1800s, the day after celebrating his birthday, his wife came under suspicion for not summoning a doctor after he ejected after the medicine that she administered to him made his condition worse. During her marriage, Sophia started an affair with a Dutch officer named Roge, possibly with the consent of her husband early. He left he left Berlin for a time but later returned and died 3 years later before her husband. At the time the death was a tribute to tuberculosis. It was later discovered that shortly after her death, Sophia purchased a quantity of arsenic. How much is arsenic? How much is cyanide? Where would I get it here in Canada? So anyway, but I'm not doing it, but just, wondering. On January 24th, 1801, the aunt of Sophia, Christine Whitty, died in Charlottenburg after a short illness, leaving Sophie a large inheritance. It was again later discovered that she had bought another quantity of arsenic. Shortly before her aunt had died at the end of February '03, Sophia's servant Benjamin Hine became ill after having quarreled getting mad with her sometime earlier. She gave him an emetics, then soup, which made him worse. He became suspicious, and when she gave him plums, he secretly had them examined by a chemist. God, I wish I was a chemist. Who confirmed that they contained arsenic. Sophia was arrested and soon come under suspicion of having poisoned her husband. His examiners exhumed body exam. He examined the his body was exhumed, but at the autopsy, the chemist Martin Hendrik Klapsroth, and his assistant Valentine Rose could not confirm that he had been poisoned with arsenic. But there was suspicion from the general condition of the times that of the body organs that convulsion contracted the times that arsenic had been used in poison of him. Uh, I I kind of read it wrong, but look him up, and or look her up, and look at everybody up, and tell me if I'm right, tell me I'm wrong. I have been searching for a couple of websites, and there you go. Like I said, there's hardly anybody from the second century. Maybe a little. She was next charged with murdering her aunt again. The body was exhumed, but his time this this time the examiner, contrary to what the doctors had said at her death, had no doubt that the aunt had died from arsenic poisoning and that Sophia had administered the poison. The trial of her murder ended in September 12, 1803. In her attempt to save her life and honor, Sophia disputed every point, but found willingly was found guilty of her aunt and attempted murdering her servant, and was sentenced to life in prison. But being doing life, this is what I'm talking about. She was to life in prison. She was while being doing life, she was allowed a certain amount of comp, comp, comfort per person prison glass. She was allowed to have parties with guests and a dress in fine clothes. After 30 years, she was pardoned in 1833. At refound she rejoined the upper class society of Flats until her death in 1836. Doesn't tell you how she died. The work of Valentine Rose is providing providing the victims of the case were actually poisoned have that the evidence of doctors who were present at the death was not significant in 1836. The Marsh test, highly sensitive by the chemist, the method of its detection of arsenic was developed by the chemist James March. That's what I was talking about at the first party. Whoever's been inside, whoever, you know, having a party, that's just luxury. I might as well go out and buy a fucking Lamborghini, or a fucking Porsche, you know. But having a fucking party in prison, oh, that's luxury right there. Maybe wine, beer, the whole 9 yards. Anything but the kitchen sink, right? So, but anyway, thank you very much and have a good day.